But even when you are a soldier and you're in a war, you need something to come home to. Who are you fighting for, right?
So good.
And I think for me now, the game has changed where it's now so real. I'm fighting for the future farmers, the children that
Your
we
children,
don't have yet.
Right. So we just came off the convocation stage with the farmers. Man, was that British
good.
enough?
I thought that was really good.
Thank you.
Earlier you said, now you went back to Australia. Yeah. Thank you. It was a bit Australian.
So thanks for being here. What a privilege to get to have you in. Nigel Farage had to last second reschedule, and we imposed on you during your honeymoon week to come, and you graciously accepted. It was an amazing convocation. You did a phenomenal job. How has your experience been during your honeymoon week?
Well, I'm going to let him speak to it because I'm starting to feel like I'm a paid puppet of Liberty University because I say this all the time, and I really do think this is the best university to speak at in America, probably in the world. The hospitality here, every single person is so on point. They pay so much attention to detail. They're so kind, and as soon as you get on a campus, you feel that energy.
Right.
And I was so happy when I got the text message from you. I was like, George, the one place I told you have to experience in America. So what was it like for you?
Yeah, she's not telling a lie there. She has talked a lot about Liberty, and she said the convocation is the most incredible experience. It was amazing. I mean, I love the energy out there. I mean, that was just fantastic. I think we covered quite a lot of ground. It was great having Jerry and Becky on the stage as well. They really provided a lot of entertainment.
I felt like the one guy without a date.
Yeah.
Two awesome couples. I'm just staring. You know?
I like the way that you tried to bring it back to the sort of talking points, and then just sort of got like subsumed within the kind of conversation going on. But it was really good fun, and it was great. I mean, Liberty, what an amazing place. I mean, forget the Ivy Leagues, forget Oxford and Cambridge. This is the place you want to come.
That's an Oxford man right there.
Yeah,
they might take
Oxford
away his
man.
degree if they hear that. So, yeah, it's always fun to have Jerry and Becky on stage with the Q&A, and you guys did such a great job. And, both of you as couples, the Falwells and you as the farmers, you're constantly being taken, unfairly. Shots are taken at you. And I think you guys have a lot in common. You're very public figures, and people always, misjudge who you are. And it was fun to watch some of that banter as well between you. I'd love to talk about, again, you being public figures, both of you, you more on the other side of the ocean than you here, and then now internationally. Talk a little bit about just how this marriage is going to work out. I mean, you guys met 2.5 weeks later, you were engaged, now all of a sudden this big wedding, and when you Google your names, you're both very outspoken fighters. I mean, you have high principles, and you don't mind swinging a bat for what you believe in. How is that going to work out, on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I'll say this, that Candace, when I first met Candace, the thing which attracts us most to each other, and I'm speaking for her here, but I believe is our minds, our respective intellectual development process. And I think what's been wonderful is being able to have somebody who's also, she's my teammate as much as anything else. And even though we disagree on things, and we do disagree on things, but even though we disagree on things occasionally, we like to hammer out those intellectual points between each other. And it's fun to have somebody who can give it as good as they can take it. And that's part of the joy of our relationship. I mean, we come down in the morning, she'll say the same thing. We're often this couple that we'll be sitting at breakfast and we'll be talking about, what's going on in, sort of France or, in California or wherever it might be. And that's actually that's part of the joy of our relationship in many ways. So it's great to have a teammate and a soulmate.
And we really do have just all of the same interests, which is really incredible. And I would say that marriage for me, I think it's both softened me and sharpened me. And when I say softened me, I mean, we spoke about this before, is people have always seen the fighter Candace.
Right.
That's what is always put forth, whether you're watching me on TV or watching me at events, you know what I'm fighting for. But even when you are a soldier and you're in a war, you need something to come home to. Who are you fighting for, right?
So good.
And I think for me now, the game has changed where it's now so real. I'm fighting for the future farmers, the children that
Your
we
children,
don't have yet,
right.
and what I want America to be in the future. So it's so much bigger. And in terms of sharpening it, George is brilliant. So he really challenges me in all of the right ways and sort of perfects sort of the rough sides of me. And it's just been, from start to finish, a beautiful union since we met.
Sounds like you respect each other as like intellectual people, and so then maybe things don't get emotionally out of hand as much as they become just really good, solid conversations, or maybe even intense fellowship.
Yeah.
Do you ever disagree on, like, what's something you disagreed on recently?
The world knows this, but the only thing that we have had like outward disagreement about is whether or not gorillas have souls.
Gorillas have souls?
Yes. I know.
How did that even come up?
Actually, I don't know.
I can't remember how it came
It's
up.
bizarre. I love gorillas. There's like a whole thing with me and gorillas, and I don't know how it came up. And I was just like, I just feel like they are the one, animal, the
Harambe.
one that have souls. Harambe.
Yeah.
They cry, they dance to music, and they're just different from all of the other animals. And of course, his big theological brain just
Went to Oxford Divinity. Yeah.
Did.
yeah,
Indeed,
majored
that's
in
right.
theology, just shuts me down every
So
time.
you feel that gorillas have souls, and you've actually read the Bible, and feel
Well
like maybe
done.
they don't have souls.
Well
Maybe they
done.
don't, so yeah, exactly.
But what is your argument in that? I don't know if you read the Bible. You're a Christian
Honestly,
as well.
it's a completely feeling-based argument. So it's just why I don't usually talk about it publicly, because
Facts
That's
don't
too
care
late
about
now.
your
facts
feelings.
don't care about my feelings, but my feelings really do care
Yeah.
about, I don't know, there's something about gorillas. They cried when Robin Williams died. They're dancing.
That is true.
They have their iPhones. You give it an iPhone, they'll scroll on Instagram and like posts. And I'm just
Right.
like, this can't just be like an animal. This
Right.
can't be. My cat doesn't scroll on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Certainly, I mean,
I know I'm wrong, but I
they're-
feel right.
I think no. I think to your point, they're more than flesh and blood. Animals do have a conscience, and I think
Yeah.
animals have emotions, and that's real. But then to your point, mankind is made in the image of God, and in that we have an eternal soul.
Correct.
And so I'd even concede that maybe animals, and here's a loose term, have a non-eternal soul. There's something about them that can, like, you see the motherly instincts of animals,
Yeah.
and you see the care that they have even for people, and you see kindness in them, and things that I think hint at there's more in there, than that we can recognize and understand.
There is absolutely, and I mean, we can go deep on the theology on this one, but I mean, absolutely, you're correct. I mean, obviously, they have feelings and instincts and emotions. I mean, there's tons of stories where you can see. I mean, even lions. The famous lion, which was raised by someone in, I think it was the US actually, or the UK or something like that, but they then went back to Africa, found the lion, and the lion came up and gave them a big hug.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of stories like that. It's about, I just like to make sure that there's no gray area where...
And gorillas to you are like the gray area.
Gorillas are going to be in heaven with us, but
There'll be
the
no
rest of
gorillas
the
in
animal
heaven.
kingdom aren't. So.
Pastor, the question is, do you think our marriage will survive this?
The gorilla controversy.
It's
I
a
don't
major
know.
issue. I don't
It's
know.
a major issue.
You're gonna need a lot of counseling. Maybe gorillas can give you some counseling.
Yeah, exactly. They've got sense.
I think it's great. And again, I think pound for pound, you tend to. I bet you tend to win a lot of arguments because you're an intellectual. I think you win a lot of arguments because I've seen you like size people down with your words. It's gonna be fun.
It's
gonna be
she's
fun to
crushed
watch
me.
you guys come at each other like as two heavyweights,
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you this. We had a lunch once where it was just there was me and her, and then our Candace's assistant, and she took me to pieces in less than 4 minutes. I don't think anyone's ever done that to me before, and I felt so crushed that for the rest of the day. I was just like I couldn't get my head around where I was for the rest of the day. I was a mess,
Yeah.
and it was just that was the first time I really felt crushed by
Yeah.
Candace.
Get in line, man.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
long
Get
line
it.
of
Join
people
the queue,
who've been
hey?
crushed
There we
by
go.
Candace.
Exactly.
Well, it's been such a joy, and honestly, we've known each other now well over a year and a half, and even seeing you recently at the wedding and some other things, I've noticed not a softening of your convictions, but really a broadening of your compassion and everything. And I think you're going to make each other better, and that's what marriage is: growing closer together as you grow closer to God. And so, the blessings of God on your marriage, and man, we'll be praying for you. Thanks for
Thanks,
being
David.
here again.
Thank
Thanks
you so
very
much
much,
for
David.
having
Yeah,
us.
it's great.
We love you.
Thank you.
That name, Farmer, you know, is like, it's not a really cool American name, but when you put that British accent into it, it just becomes very civilized.
Very
Farmer.
posh.
Mr. and Mrs. the Honorable Farmers are
Farmer.
here.
Yeah. Well, do you know that actually originally in the UK the origin of the surname Farmer was steward.
Really?
Yeah, so there you go. This was actually stewards of the land rather than just farmers. So there you go.
Do you guys ever do the "We are farmers"?
The whole
Oh,
time.
we do it
We do it
all
the
the
whole
time.
time.
That's awesome.